Almost 1 year ago, Apple showed us 4 new iPhones: 13, 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max, and 13 mini. And despite the new iPhones visually almost remained the same compared to 12, the hardware has been upgraded. And today all the media are screaming that iPhone 14 will not get a new processor, will not get a new design, but what's new then? And is it a good idea to wait for the new iPhone 14 or just skip this year and get one of the iPhone 13s today? So let's take a look at these 3 models after a year of use. As I said, visually, iPhone 13 is almost the same as the 12 except new colors. No space gray, but starlight, midnight, blue, pink, and green. The base iPhone has the following specs: internal storage from 128 to 512 gigs, 6.1-inch 60Hz display, A15 Bionic chip, dual 12-megapixel camera system, and 3265 mAh battery. I got an iPhone in midnight color and I like how it looks. It feels solid, minimalistic, as always. But since the iPhone 10, the design has changed, well, not that dramatically, and Apple, we expect something new, not just a rotated camera unit, but most likely and unfortunately, we should not expect any exciting iPhone 14 upgrades this year. But not all insiders are sure about that. For example, while everyone is screaming about a new basic iPhone with a bigger display, Evan Blass Leaks believes that nothing will change and the lineup will be the same as before. However, rumors about a possible new product with a bigger display are going around already, and probably for a reason. And let me express my opinion about the size and dimensions of the iPhone 13's display. You know, in my opinion, this is a clear, strict, and well-balanced middle ground. The smartphone is not particularly large, it fits your hand comfortably, and it's convenient to interact with one hand. However, we faced different opinions. Some enjoyed the sharp edges design, and some hated it, saying that beveled edges design was much more enjoyable. But for me personally, the sharp edges design seemed more practical, because previous beveled ones could literally slip out of your hands, and the notch is smaller now, which is closer to what we asked for. In general, the iPhone is beautiful, not so fresh visually, but still beautiful. Moving on. But when I was using the 13 Pro Max, A, it was uncomfortable to interact with one hand, I usually held it with 2 hands, B, it takes up significantly more space in my pocket, and C, it also weighs more, which means a greater risk of it slipping out of your hands. But dropping the iPhone 13 Pro Max is not as scary as it may seem at first glance, at least if you keep it in a case and use a protective glass. I've dropped my 13 Pro Max 3 to 4 times, it survived and feels great. The 13 Pro Max feels much more durable in general than the base iPhone 13. And there is a new iPhone case I've been using for the last month, which was sent to me by a company called MacBack. This is their new product, and I've been really enjoying the quality of this case. It's just top-notch. And it has actually saved my iPhone a few times. This is a relatively thin silicone case and is going to offer more drop protection than a typical silicone case. It's not the toughest one I've used, but I like the balance here. Usually tough cases are bulky and hard to pull off, but this one definitely found a middle ground. When it comes to thinner cases, cheaper brands won't bother strengthening the tiny piece of silicone above the lightning cutout, but MacBack does. The corners of this case do have an air pocket, which basically acts as a tiny airbag for the corners of your iPhone on a corner drop, and it was actually 6 feet or 2 meters drop tested. They've been making magnetic mounts for iOS devices since about 2013, and these magnets are stronger than the magnets on the Apple cases, so they're strong but not too strong. They hold the device or any accessories attached to it very firmly. MacBack has added MagSafe to their lineup, so it's compatible with MagSafe chargers. It comes with 2 Mag sticks, each of them consists of 3 small magnets and embedded in a small aluminum platform. These sticks can basically go anywhere, like your car, your kitchen, or maybe a wall close to your desk. And like I said, the magnets are strong enough, so I was pretty comfortable putting the iPhone on vertical surfaces. And And the case is the ideal companion to the MagBack wallet. It's definitely one of my favorite MagSafe wallets because it has a high card capacity, up to 6 cards, a divider to improve case access to your cards and cash, and if you use the wallet with a MagBack case, you can use the wallet as a stand for both portrait and landscape modes. The wallet also includes a removable finger loop for extra comfort and security, and ultra-thin RFID shielding. And yeah, it's made of luxurious, durable, top-grain leather. And in case you don't want to use it with the MagBack case, the wallet is compatible with all MagSafe iPhones and accessories. Since this video is sponsored by MagBack, feel free to use the promo code Arthur15OFF for 15% off. To learn more about MagBack products, click the link in the description below. One of the main features presented together with the iPhone 13 was the cinematic mode, which is kind of a portrait mode but for video. However, the cinematic mode after a year, well, let's put it this way, it's good enough considering it's a new feature. I wouldn't say that the feature has improved much in a year. Yeah, it still doesn't look like footage from a big camera like Sony FX3 with real shallow depth of field. Sure, we cannot compare these cameras, but the result is not even close. So I personally haven't found any practical ways to use this mode, and I haven't met a single person who would wanna buy this smartphone just to create cinematic stories on Instagram. I mean, if you want cinematic, use a real tool created to make things cinematic. I have my Sony FX3 for stuff like this, although I know there are fans of this mode, and this mode has some benefits like changing the focus point after the fact. I have a separate video on this channel dedicated to this mode and its upsides, so go ahead and click here to watch it. In general, the image quality kinda got better compared to iPhone 12. It's not a dramatic difference, but still appreciated, specifically Pro and Pro Max with the telephoto lens and macro mode. Definitely my favorite features in the new cameras. It's not that I use macro every day, usually for fun, but still a really nice feature to have. Telephoto, on the other hand, is a necessity if you love filming stuff on your iPhone. The digital zoom in the regular wide lens will not give you that quality and that stretched in effect of the telephoto lens. I'm a big fan of this look, so for me, having this lens is a must if you're a fan of filming stuff on your iPhone. And rumor has it that the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will get a 45 megapixel main camera module. And if that happens, it seems that the quality of photos will get dramatically better. You know, I'm not that picky about iPhone camera quality, even the iPhone 11's camera is good enough in my opinion, so I would expect some kind of a new or updated software AI camera feature. I think they will probably update the cinematic mode, making it smarter, and the second software feature to expect, not related to camera, is the always on display. It will happen with a 99% probability. Next up, performance. Okay, it's simple enough here. The iPhone XR performs great in 2022. The iPhone 11, same thing. Obviously, iPhone 12 even better. So is the iPhone 13 powerful enough? Everything is snappy, no slowdowns except throttling, which we'll talk about in a minute. The battery capacity has been increased on all 4 models, so we get even more battery life, which is awesome. And even base 13 is actually not that base at all. It's really good for things you do every day, even games. Except I couldn't bring breakfast to bed. On average, the battery life of my base iPhone 13 is from 6 to 6.5 hours of continuous use. So you will find yourself recharging your iPhone once a day, but it's not a pain in the ass because it takes about 1 hour to charge from 0 to 8. And if you want an honest opinion, I'd like to make an official appeal to Tim Cook and Craig Federighi. Guys, changing the camera size in every new iPhone is a great idea, but I'm running out of money to buy a new case every time. And I bet that even if there's no change in the iPhone 14, even if the camera unit is the same, the volume control buttons 100% will move a little higher or a little lower. To sum up, the iPhone 13 is a great smartphone for those who want all the new features, the new recycled but still beautiful design, a slightly larger battery, and the ability to transfer files via USB 2.0, aka Lightning. Yeah, the biggest disappointment didn't go anywhere, and it looks like we won't even see the USB-C port in the iPhone 14. All in all, iPhone 13 and iPhone 12 and iPhone 14, if you know what I mean, is a great device for its money. And like Like I said before, considering the leaks that most likely iPhone 14 won't even get a new processor and the design is likely to be the same, there's a feeling that this model of iPhone 13 will be the best selling at least until the reveal of iPhone 15. For now, let's take a look at 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. Built-in storage capacity in these models is from 128 gigs to 1 terabyte. The display is 6.1 to 6.7 inches respectively, and now it's not the usual display but a Super Retina XDR display with ProMotion, with a refresh rate up to 120 Hz and maximum brightness of 1000 nits. The iPhone is also protected from water and dust according to the IP68 standard and upgraded camera system, telephoto, wide, ultra-wide and macro. The battery capacity of the Pro is 3150 mAh and the Pro Max has 4400 mAh thanks to its size. The colors are also new: Sierra Blue, Graphite, Gold, Silver, Alpine Green, plus the sides of the iPhone are not aluminum but titanium, which in turn gets easily filled with scratches if you don't wear a case. And in general, these are two identical smartphones. The only real difference is the size of the screen and battery capacity. But what's so professional about it? There is a reason we see Pro in the name. Apple decided to give us professionals the ability to shoot in 4K 10-bit ProRes. This feature will eat up your storage in seconds, so you're forced to buy at least 512 gigs. And what's more, the new ProRes video format is available with limitations. Models from 256 GB support all the resolutions shown on the screen, while models from 128 GB support only 1080p. And understandably, this is done so that users don't clutter up their iPhone on the first day and complain, because the size of files is really impressive. As for the new display, before picking up the 13 Pro, I was really satisfied with my 60Hz display. I thought it was really smooth, but then I tried the ProMotion and now the 60Hz display feels less professional, I guess. Especially if you compare them head to head. The difference is huge, but it's not something I can't live without, just a nice visual thing. Okay, very important, throttling. It sounds ridiculous, but all the iPhone 13 models began to throttle more often than I thought they would. If you are a happy owner of an iPhone, you've probably noticed how it decreases brightness sometime after you launch a graphics-heavy application. I don't know how, I don't know why and for what reason, but the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max are really sick of reducing the brightness of the display. This is really noticeable in games, and it's even more noticeable when used in hot conditions, 25+ degrees Celsius. You start a game, play for a while, and here you go. You can't see a damn thing on your display, no matter how bright it is. When I go out and I want to shoot a video on this new iPhone 13 Pro, but after 5 to 10 minutes I get headaches because I can't see a thing on the display. Why do I need, excuse me, 1000 nit display if sometimes I don't even see 200? However, in relatively cold conditions, you probably will not experience any throttling problems, but if you start playing games at home or, I don't know, editing videos in LumaFusion, here you go. Same old story. The iPhone is getting hotter and the screen is getting darker. So if the iPhone 14 is rumored to get the same processor, then will it throttle as bad? And what about 14 Pro and Pro Max? According to leaks, Apple is going to upgrade the processor in the 14 Pro and Pro Max, and I don't know what's in Apple's mind, but something tells me that they simply need to solve the throttling issue. Here is a little test from the Golden Reviewer channel. Genshin Impact, a fairly high-performance game running on the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro Max. And if at the start both iPhones show amazing performance results, then after literally 5 minutes, performance values drop almost twice, hence FPS are far away from the stable 60, it simply jumps up and down. And it's important to understand that Genshin Impact is quite a heavy game and probably not all games will have similar results, but from my own experience, I want to say that when playing NBA, PUBG Mobile, and other similar games, I could feel this frying pan in my hands. And if it's a nice hot weather outside, it's literally impossible to hold the iPhone. Personally, I got used to the base iPhone 13 and this form factor seems to me the most pleasant. Whereas the 13 Pro Max is great for consuming content because of the bigger screen, but you know, it really depends on your preferences, and the only thing I would recommend here is to go to the store before you place an order. Feel it there, hold it in your hands, and only then make a decision. And you may have a reasonable question by this time. Why is he not talking about 13 Pro and Pro Max performance? Of course, we can delve into benchmarks, performance tests, and other things, but honestly, I don't see the point. The iPhone 13 works just fine. The 13 Pro and Pro Max even more so. You can run all games, any applications, and it makes sense. This is the flagship. The A15 Bionic is doing a great job. Yeah, not without some flaws like throttling, but nevertheless. And if you are thinking about buying the iPhone 13, any of the lineup right now, take your time. First of all, the event is less than a month away. Secondly, we don't know exactly what the iPhone 14 will be like. Thirdly, even if the iPhone 14 will be something revolutionary, the iPhone 13 will not become the previous old generation. For most people today, the iPhone 12 is still the best option because of the price to quality ratio. And I guess that history is repeating itself again. And last but not least, the iPhone 13 will definitely get cheaper after the release of 14. So just be patient, good things come to those who wait. And what do you expect from the new iPhone 14 lineup? I'd like to see an updated design, not just move the buttons Apple, but an updated design. Also throttling to be fixed, and I would like the Type-C port. Okay, summertime Santa, I made a wish for the event, but in the meantime, go ahead and click on this video and this one, and see you in the next one.